Churchill Downs today is a horse player's paradise.
The distance, the trip, who's going to be where.
This is anybody's horse race.
A lot of money up for grabs.
I think Churchill Downs has the best racing going in America right now.
Here's the wire, line of duty.
And the man to my left has now picked 9 of the last 10 winners.
Maybe I should just sit back and let Scott do everything, man. He's on fire.
From a horse player's perspective, this is what it's all about. It's a big day at Churchill Downs. It's Breeders' Cup Saturday at Del Mar. The action will be fast and furious, and hopefully for your wallets, your pocketbooks, lucrative as well. It's time for Churchill Downs today, presented by TwinSpires.com. 11 live races on our Saturday agenda. Let's take a look at the conditions. Fast main track, sunny skies, temperatures in the low 50s, and the winds are variable at 3.5 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the headlines. Big day Saturday for Corey Landry and Steve Asmussen. They both scored 3 local wins, and a big Breeders' Cup for Steve as well, winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies with Echo Zulu. Audrey's Time rolled home, going 1.25 miles in the Friday feature against the Gals. Nobody had the lone solo winning ticket. Multiple winners in yesterday's Derby City 6. Carryover pool for today, 57,404. Begins at race number 6 of 11. Bango, Mucho, renew acquaintances against a good field of sprint foes in the Bet on Sunshine, our featured race today. Brad Cox's duo, favored in the Breeders' Cup Classic, Latruska the Target, and a salty edition of the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Joe Christofek and Scott Shapiro on the heels of an interesting Breeders' Cup Friday for a plethora of different reasons that we won't dive deep into. But we saw Echo Zulu. She was very impressive. And what slump? People talking about Steve Asmussen. 3 wins here, wins the Breeders' Cup Distaff with Echo Zulu. He is 6 for his last 10. 6 of his last 10 starters have been winners across the country, so I think that slump is in the rearview mirror at this point, Scott.
Great to be here. Beautiful day out. Beautiful day always in San Diego County, where they'll be running the Breeders' Cup Saturday. 9 races on tap. We've got a great 11 race card on tap here. Some stakes races, really good late pick 5 and pick 4 sequence, as well as, of course, the Derby City 6. And, yeah, fired up, man.
Yeah, carryover pool, 57,404, Derby City 6, race number 6 of 11. And for more on the particulars of how we're going to handle the Breeders' Cup here at Churchill Downs in conjunction with our live races, let's send it down to our guest reporter for this weekend, Caitlin Free. Beautiful day in the paddock, Caitlin.
It's an absolutely beautiful day. It's bright, it's sunny, couldn't ask for better conditions. And as you said, what a performance yesterday from Echo Zulu in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Good day, a complicated day at Del Mar, but we're willing to scratch it off. There's 9 races on the tap for the Breeders' Cup today. We got the Filly and Mare Turf, the Filly and Mare Sprint, Turf Sprint, the Dirt Sprint, the Mile, the Distaff, the Turf, and the Classic. So there's plenty of wagering opportunities at Del Mar. There's plenty of wagering opportunities here at Churchill, and you're going to be able to see it all here with us at Churchill. We are going to be showing all Breeders' Cup races on the big board. We're going to be staggering our post times with Del Mar's post times. That way we can play all of the races together. And speaking of the Breeders' Cup, let's push it down the road a little bit 6 months later, talking about the Kentucky Derby. The future wager pools, Pool 1 is opening up in a few weeks. Not only do we have the individual horses to wager on, this is the only time you can wager on the Kentucky Derby sires. Lots of sires to be offered, such as Curlin, Tappet, Into Mischief, and I'm sure Gunrunner will probably be offered as well. What a breakout year he has had, not only with Echo Zulu and his son Papa Cap running second in the juvenile yesterday. So both those horses are leading the points races on the road to the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks, but the future wager is only for the Kentucky Derby horses and only for the sires. I'm excited to see who Mike Battaglia will make the morning line favorite in the Kentucky Derby wager sires pool. I think it's going to be Gunrunner. What do you guys think?
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, obviously he's made a huge first impression as a stallion. He's got a lot of live runners, 2-year-olds moving forward. That should only get better as distances get further. You see that promotion for the first Derby future wager, and it only gets you thinking about the first Saturday in May.
Love that time of year. We've got a good time of year here with the Breeders' Cup and the rest of our fall meet, but nothing quite like it in Louisville during Derby time. Excited for that. Not quite sure about my sire prediction as of yet, but Gunrunner certainly has been impressive.
All right, again, that will be Thanksgiving weekend here at Churchill Downs Kentucky Derby Future Pool #1, individual horses and sires as well. Let's take a look at the current standings, jockeys and trainers. Scott, Mitchell Merle on top of a plethora of jockeys, 6-4. Miguel Mena, I mean, you know, it's just sad to talk about it, but he had 3 mounts yesterday that would have been winners, and today's Miguel's birthday. So again, always keeping him, his family, in our thoughts. I'm sure the riders are as well. I'm sure they're very well aware of the birthday, the winners that he would have had, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, he was on some live horses, but happy birthday, Miguel. And back to the jockey and trainer standings, as trivial as it is compared to that situation, it's been Mitchell Merle who's gotten his horses into the races, even a couple of horses that lack early speed on paper. I think that's what's been his advantage so far. Obviously riding for Chris Hartman regularly, those 2 wins where you see Chris there in 4th, tied with a few other guys. And Dallas Stewart, Steve Asmussen, you mentioned it, Steve, the cold streak appears to be over. Got the big win on the West Coast, got 3 wins yesterday here with Corey Landry, and Dallas Stewart doing it with maidens for the most part here to start the fall meet, Joe.
And Kenny's horses always seem to make peak in the fall. He's got a couple of wins, and of course Tiz the Bomb yesterday, you know, ran second. If you bet him to win, you got paid. Brian Hernandez Jr. aboard that one. In addition to that, you know, Giant Game, a good third for Dale Romans in the juvenile with Joe Talon aboard, earning some points. Curious to see if we see that horse in the Kentucky Jockey Club at the end of the month. Certainly not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, no doubt. That was a really strong effort. Was wide in the race and made a big run. Looked like he could easily get second. Got a little bit tired late, but big effort off of the maiden score for Dale Romans, who's not afraid to take his chances.
All right, let's jump into the card, Scott. First of 11 races live. Again, 3:10 will be the post time Eastern for the first Breeders' Cup race, the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. We're going to be running the races back and forth. That will occur after our 3rd race here today. Mile and a 16th in the opener. Pick 5 wagering, beaten $30,000 claiming fillies and mares 3 and older. Non-winners of 3 or 3-year-old fillies. And Scott, you landed on the number 6 in this particular race, and that is a horse by the name of Good Penny. 2-1, I do believe, on the morning line. It's the favorite that I'm against in the signature plays, but again, a compact field in the opener where anyone can win it, so competitive.
Yeah, not even sure if Good Penny will go off favorite or not in here, and struggled to come up with a real solid opinion. But the way I saw it, I do expect the one You Can Be Magic and Nostalgia to be the 2 involved early on the front end, and Good Penny should get a good trip from the outside post just off the early lead. 3 back, big effort, albeit at 7 furlongs at Ellis Park for the career best 82 Brisnet. Speed rating goes first claim for Matt Shearer, who is 22% over his last 55 starts, going first off the claim, has a win in 5 starts here at Churchill Downs. I'm willing to forgive the last effort. It was over the slop. It was against a pretty good group for the level. The winner, Lady Frosted, was very good for that beaten $50,000 level, won that race going away. So hoping Good Penny can take advantage of that outside post and a favorable stalking voyage.
Yeah, I have a lukewarm selection here as well. Number 4, Joy of Treasure, who did win over a speed favoring track in an off-the-turf race going a mile, 1.5 turn mile at Ellis back on July 2nd. Indiana Grand last out, very slow pace up front. The Flow favored horses that were up close in that particular event. At Churchill Downs on the main track, she has 1 start. It was a decent performance. In a rare instance, yesterday, horses that came from off the pace did better than we usually expect. We'll see if that holds true today. I mean, we don't really know until we get the races started, but that would certainly benefit Joy of Treasure if it turns out to be true.
Yeah, hasn't won in a long time, so it was tough for me to get excited about, but definitely see where you're coming from here. Other than the last time out, his face considerably better, and the last effort against the Flow was forgivable. If they go at it early, I would expect her to be running on late.
Race number 2, open $20,000 claimer, 6.5 furlongs the distance. Pick 4 wagering available here. And number 1, Belle Tapisserie for Eddie Keneally and the Biscuit. Anna Biscuitsa cuts the tag in half after being claimed out of a clunker for $40,000. This is usually the kind of horse that you're against, Scott, but you are on Belle Tapisserie in this race, as am I. doesn't necessarily need to bring the A game to win this.
No, and he has some races in the past that would absolutely destroy this field. Whether he can run them still at the age of 6 remains to be seen. But what I like most is that this horse has been freshened up after being claimed by Eddie Keneally, who has good numbers when he drops off the claim, so I'm not too concerned about that. We've talked about it a lot, how good these purses are. Thank you to Derby City Gaming. You know, it's okay to drop off the claim. If you lose for 20, you win the lion's share of the purse, you're profiting.
30 grand or so plus the $20,000 claim. They claim for 40.
Right.
You can do the math.
Right. And this horse raced 4 times from July 19th to August 31st. Then got a little bit of a break for the new barn. But still, I think the freshening is going to do this horse well. Ideally, we'll get out of the gate and get position early.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. Just a quick alternative, number 3, the Queen's Jewels, who's chased some pretty good winners in the last couple of races at Churchill and Indiana Grand, respectively. Probably going to be in chase mode again today. But that was my second best option, which means if Bel Tapissiere brings his B game, he should be able to beat this field.
Yeah, the Queen's Jewels, to me, I think I picked last time here at Churchill, which is 2 back and was no match for Code Blue. Just appears to be a horse maybe moving in the wrong direction since a couple of really good efforts or fast efforts in New York.
Number 3, race number 3, $40,000 claimer, 6.5 furlongs, the distance in this one. And Scott, you landed on the 3 horse that is looking for Loki. That one is scratched.
Yeah, my picks are modified. Maybe you didn't get the new one.
Yeah, what do you got?
I went to the 6 Tango Charlie and didn't have him picked for second. But the reason I moved him up to first is because I thought Looking for Loki and Tango Charlie were the only 2 speeds in here. And now with the scratch of Looking for Loki, Chris Hartman has the other runner in here in the Arkansas-bred Mo Betta. But looks to me like Tango Charlie, this son of Hardspun, off the bench, should be loose on the lead in this compact group. Not worried about the outside draw, obviously, in this small field. Has encountered similar, has beat brother Aaron last time out. Hasn't come back to run all that well, but I know you liked his win at Ellis, the race after for trainer Dale Romans, the 3rd-place finisher. Mahomes Money did come back and win against Lesser 2 days ago in wire-to-wire fashion. So Tango Charlie to wire the field for me.
I got Tango Charlie on top as well. Randy Moore's off to a very good start this meet. For all the reasons you said, you know, if Looking for Loki was in the race and I was looking for maybe the perfect pressing trip from Tango Charlie, now he might inherit the lead. And what I like about this horse, Scott, won on July 31st, and Randy Moore's gave this horse a little bit of a freshening, a little bit of a time off situation off a career best effort. Gives the horse some time off, has several workouts leading up to this, including a 5-furlong bullet on October the 3rd. I like off a career best effort when there's a logical spot to run the horse in next. When horses get a little bit of time off, obviously the purses here are great and this horse fits tremendously well.
Yes, agree on all. And what I like more than anything that either of us said is that if you look at the 2 efforts when this horse has been on the lead and not gone at it, has been the winning ones. When he doesn't make the lead, things don't go quite as well.
There you go. Race number 4, $30,000 claiming 2-year-olds traveling a mile and a 16th. These races are always tricky for me, and you're going to see a lot of different colors up there on the board for Scott and I's selections here. You're with the number 5 Bourbon Delight for Jimmy DeVito and Ray Lou. Gutierrez dropping in class and stretching out off a career debut at Indiana Grand.
Yeah, on paper, that career debut was not very good, finishing 10th last, beaten 20 lengths. And, you know, there's not a lot in there to look at and say, oh, this horse ran better than the running line looks. Got in a little bit of a tricky spot early, but I like that this horse took a little money on debut, going off at 6-1 in what turned out to be a live race. The winner of that race came back to beat Allowance Foes in the next start. The 3rd-place finisher in that race came back to beat Maiden Special Weight Company at Indiana Grand. And if you look at the pedigree, both sides to me scream 2 turns. Ray Lou, I hope, can get out of the gate much better than this one did on debut. At Indiana, I think Bourbon Delight could light up the tote board, Joe.
I went logical just to your horses inside. Jolly Tommy for me, 9th last out, Maiden Special Weight, 2 turns at Keeneland. And again, making these picks 2 days in advance. I didn't realize the Giant Game was going to run a giant race in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile to be 3rd. But Jolly Tommy was 5 wide on the first turn, had a claustrophobic trip, ran evenly to the wire, now drops in for 30, which makes sense. Eddie Keneally and company have given this one 3 tries already. Just looks to maybe have found his friends here, seems to be in a very logical spot. And Corey Lannery, we used to say when Corey is away, Brian will play. Now it's when other jockeys are away, Corey will play. He had a riding triple yesterday.
Yeah, teaming up over the last couple of days with Steve Asmussen to get both guys going here at the fall meeting. This horse obviously makes sense taking being on better. I just wanted to look for a little bit of a better price.
Race number 5, maiden special weight, $120,000 purse, 3-year-olds and up, 7 furlongs is the distance. And Scott, you landed on the number 4, Surveillance. You've been talking about that DeSormo barn showing signs of warming up, maybe getting hot. Surveillance could throw a little gas on that fire.
Yeah, Keith DeSormo hasn't been a very strong year in terms of win percentage for him, but he won his last 2 starts at Keeneland and brought some of that momentum here to Louisville, where he's now 2 for 5 at the fall meeting. And this horse has been gelded since his last start. All of his races have come against special weight companies, so they haven't given up on this horse. Still haven't, even with the ultimate equipment change. But I don't think there looks to be a lot of speed in here. Obviously, with 2 first-time starters, you know, they could always provide a little bit of early zip. But otherwise, I think Surveillance is loose and lonely on the lead, cutting back from 1 mile to 7 panels. Not the strongest group for the level, going 7/8 of a mile. I think if Surveillance makes a lonely lead, he's going to be very tough to catch.
Yeah, he's one of a few contenders in here. I think the horse drawn to his outside has a chance, a sticky issue for John Ennis, who's really made a nice impression here recently. Used to think of him as an early season 2-year-old trainer, but he's got one in a later race today that he claimed and won with on the rise, and just really seems to be maybe one of the rising stars on the trainer side of things here at Churchill Downs. I went to Tartufo, though, the 9-5, I believe, morning line favorite.
Yep.
I'm going to take that last race at face value, Scott, behind Cody's Wish, who we'll see a little bit later on today, a potential monster. This horse was 3 wide every step of the way, still closed ground to be second behind that really, really good winner. Has improved exponentially from start to start. Now taking blinkers off for the first time in career start number 4 off a career best effort, which I find very intriguing. Hoping that Caitlin Free can talk to Carlo Vaccarezza and find out, you know, the reasoning behind that, because this horse ran a huge race last time. Maybe the blinkers off, maybe he'll run even better.
Yeah, that was concerning to me. It looks like a potential regression spot, although has been given over 4 weeks to return. Had a similar trip to Cody's Wish, who's a fast horse, dominant winner, likely to be favored, definitely a significant favorite on the morning line in the finale. The blinkers off and the lack of early speed were the only concerns for me. Looks like a 2-horse race on paper.
Race number 6, let's go ahead and take a look at the Derby City 6 stuff, and then we're going to handicap it, Scott, because I want to see how deep you went in this first leg. A $40,000 claimer, 7 furlongs is the distance, and let's take a look at yesterday. And we were talking about this before we came on the air. I think this is a massive payoff. The 21-1 All the Diamonds, I know a few people, including yourself, like that horse a little bit. Classic moment going against the odds-on favorite in the finale. Won that one at 6-1. Tough to have both of those horses because the other 4 were very logical.
Yeah, and Big Bugs Girl was 2-1, but went off, I believe, the second choice in a race where there were a number of scratches. So maybe people put tickets in and landed on the favorite because of that. Long Crow was a little bit of a bet down. Moliere, horse I did not like at all, but obviously illogical at 8-5. But you said it best. The 21-1 combined with not getting home the likeliest winner on the card, according to many, including myself, Cyberknife, really blew this thing up.
Let's take a look at the carryover pool. It continues to grow. It has not been hit by a solo winner yet this young fall meet. 57,404. And again, with Breeders' Cup happening at Del Mar, this is the kind of day to really try to focus on the Derby City 6 here, because there might be the opportunity to swoop, Scott, because there are some very good races later, some potential maybe for some upsets within the sequence. Let's take a look at your ticket.
Yeah, I went with the $38.40 ticket here, leaning on my single in race 10, which is Mucho in the featured Bet on Sunshine. We'll get to that in a little while. Went 2 deep to close things out with the aforementioned favorite Cody's Wish and a price. Started things out 4 deep in here, a couple logical horses and a couple of long shots. Hope we can get one of those long shots home. And then played against the favorite One Fast Cat in race 7, 8th and 9th, a little bit of coverage.
All right, let's take a look at my ticket. A little bit more expensive, but the same kind of strategy, at least in the first race. We're both using 4 horses. In the 7th race, I singled a 9-2 shot. Maybe a separator type single with Outlier in race number 7. I go 4 deep in the 8th, 3 deep in the 9th, 3 deep in our featured race, the Bet on Sunshine, and then 2 deep in the finale. Divine Leader off the claim for John Ennis, also utilizing the obvious horse, the number 6 Cody's Wish at odds of 9-5. All right, let's break down race number 6, Scott. Again, Derby City 6 carryover pool, 57,404. 4 begins in race number 6. $40,000 maiden claimer, 7 furlongs of distance. You went with the number 3, Aiden, who I do have picked second. We've got similar opinions in this race, including some price shots involved.
Yeah, I think we probably both saw it the same. There's not a lot of speed on paper in here. Eden, the horse maybe that a lot of people will land on dropping in class, has had 13 chances and doesn't have a lot of speed. But I thought Aiden has every right to make the lead here under Francisco Arrieta. Hasn't shown early zip in the last 2 races, but 3 back and 4 back at Ellis Park. You see the 92 and the 93 E1 rating on your Brisnet PPs. That means this horse flashed some pretty significant early speed. Not a lot of that speed signed on in here. Your top pick, which we'll talk about in a second, also has the ability to show some speed, but otherwise don't see that much. Aiden Green, might not know her around here. Owner, trainer of this horse, hasn't had a lot of success here at Churchill, but had a lot of success at the Oaklawn meet at the beginning of this year, which I followed intently. I think it's a matter of time before she breaks through here.
Yeah, I went back and looked at my selections when I was typing them in for the website today, and I'm like, why did I pick this horse? I had to dig deep into my own thoughts here. But Queen's Table is my pick, and you have the horse in third, and you're in second, actually.
Yeah, scratched in a second.
You used in the Derby City 6, and you look at this horse on paper, and you're like, why? Don't know a lot about the trainer. I will tell you, John Court is great getting a horse out of the gate. These are the kind of long shots that he finds a way to win with. And this horse has a lot of excuses, should show stretch-out speed, sloppy track against better last time, some trouble trips mixed in there. The race 3 back at Indiana Grand on the turf was very rank in the first turn. I think has some natural speed coming out of that sprint. John's going to use it. You know that he will. And I'll take my chances from there at 20-1 in the morning line.
Yeah, and Laura Yarberry, not familiar with her, looked her up. This is the only horse she started this year, so a lot of concentration and planning going in to put it where Queen's Table should be. Good luck to Laura.
Race number 7. Starter allowance, $50,000 is the claiming tag in order to be eligible for this race where horses are protected. 6 furlongs of distance. We landed on the same horse, Scott, number 1 Outlier, a horse that I really like today.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about Outlier as well. I know I went too deep because I'm against the favorite on my Derby City 6 ticket, but I think there's a lot of pace signed on it here, and I think that'll work in Outlier's advantage. Coming back to Churchill Downs after taking on similar at Keeneland that day, chasing a wire-to-wire winner home in Divine Leader. But Outlier should get a nice trip on the second start off the Claim 4 trainer, Matt Shirer. And I think you're thinking like a pocket type trip, or
yeah.
Like right off of a contentious early pace. There's 3-4 horses that should go at it early, assuming they all break. And Outlier can be up kind of close. But I think if they really go fast, he can come from significantly further out of it than it may look like on paper, because a lot of those recent races are at 1 mile and a 16th. So hopefully Deshaun Parker saves ground and takes advantage of the contentious pace.
Cutting him back, that's been the key for this horse. His last couple of races around 1 turn have been great. The 7 furlong win, and then the recent third at Keeneland behind a good winner in Divine Leader, who looked very impressive. And
Fast.
we'll see him against Cody's Wish later on today. So Scott and I on the same horse for a lot of the same reasons. As we push forward here to race number 8, 6.5 furlong maiden special weight event for 2-year-old fillies. And Scott, you landed on the 2 Bomb Diggity. Some very intriguing pedigrees in this race, including with this individual.
Bomb Diggity it is for me, correct, Joe. Steve Asmussen, we've talked about it, heating up. And this daughter of Into Mischief that sold for $600,000 at the Keeneland September 2020 sale is a half the Caribbean Caper who is perfect. Never lost, 5 for 5 for trainer Al Stahl. Won well over $300,000. Won the Dogwood during our September meet. And just start to feel that Steve's starting to unleash some good horses, starting to get back to his winning ways. Francisco Arrieta taking the call.
Florent Giroux, obviously, at the Breeders' Cup. Martin Garcia rides a lot for Brad Cox in these kinds of situations. He's on the number 9 Salvo Island, who's a half to Klimt.
Full, right?
Is it a full to Klimt? Oh, a full to Klimt.
Yeah.
Who was very good as a 2-year-old.
Won the Del Mar Futurity and the Best Pal.
There you go. So, a full to Klimt, and the workouts look good, and obviously has the precocity and the pedigree. It's Brad Cox. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to like this one. Drawn on the outside, there's some fun pedigrees in this race.
Yeah, there really are. Looking forward to it. Looks pretty wide open. I know we both landed on, figure-type horses in here, but I think there's a number of horses that could break through.
Mile and a quarter, nominators of 2 other than. We've seen a few of these mile and a quarter races the last couple of days, 62,500 if you're in for the tag. We both landed on a ledge who chased the loose and lonely winner last out in Colonel's Dark Temper.
Yeah, that was September 17th. That was a major inside speed bias day, and Colonel's Dark Temper got a great ride from Brian Hernandez Jr. that day, an aggressive one, knowing how the racetrack was playing, knowing his horse, knowing the field, took it to that field. They went pretty fast early, but it didn't matter. This horse, though, has shown the affinity for this racetrack. A win in a second, has shown the ability to get the 10 furlong distance, and I think could sit a pocket-type trip just off the lead, or could come from mid-pack as Brian Hernandez Jr. takes the call.
Tyshawn has earned almost $290,000, but you could say that maybe he's been a little bit of an underachiever in his career, still really trying to find his niche. What's his best distance? What's his best surface? He's run well on dirt. He's run well on turf. Now he's going to try a mile and a quarter on the dirt off a second-place performance last out, putting the blinkers on against 8 rings, and he should show tactical speed, stretching further out to a mile and a quarter. And we'll see, because this is a nice horse, but I just don't know what he does best.
Yeah, they were very high on this horse, the Richard Baltus barn. In fact, think they thought he was kind of a Derby-type horse for them. Didn't really, obviously, pan out. Has some ability, but still trying to find his niche. Maybe going longer is the niche. 8 rings, who he chased last time out, with the addition of blinkers for the first time. We'll see in the Breeders' Cup today in the Dirt Mile.
All right, race number 10 is up next. It is our featured race of the day. Lots of good stuff going on in California, but we've got a really good sprint of our own, Caitlin.
Yes, we have got our own stakes race here. The listed bet on Sunshine, $300,000 on the line. Really big, classy group lined up for this race. Number 1 in this race is going to be Necker Island. Necker Island, of course, came out of last year's Kentucky Derby, won his race last out. Has that aforementioned combination of Mitchell Merle and Chris Hartman that we keep talking about. Definitely is moving up, seems to be in career best form. Going down a little bit through the field, the number 4 Bango renews his rivalry with the number 8 Mucho again. Bango has been getting the upper hand with Mucho. I'm anxious to see if Mucho can turn the tables today. And then the number 6 Atoka seems to have really stepped up in class a bit for the Lucas barn. Anxious to see what he's got in here. I know you guys are really interested in Bango and Mucho, and one of my signature plays comes in this race. I'm anxious to see what you guys think about this.
All right, well, thanks, Caitlin. Very competitive race. I mean, Bango loves Churchill Downs. Raylu Gutierrez on Mucho. Caitlin's going to get an opportunity to talk to him outside the jocks room.
Nice.
Let's take a look at some of these recent races, and we want to talk about that rivalry, Scott, between Bango and Mucho, and it renews today. And what a great race we saw in the Aristides when Bango got the job done. Kelly's Landing, a 7 furlong race that may have been stretching Bango a little bit. You'll see the 2 horses here, Bango getting the jump on Mucho down along the rail, and these 2 threw it down in the stretch.
Yeah, the key here, Bango with a 3-wide clear stalking voyage, while Mucho was along the inside saving ground. Took him a little while to angle out and get going. There you see Bango on the wrong lead, but in front. Mucho finishing extremely well at a big price that day, but it was Bango, as we'll see here, just hanging on in a desperate photo. Both horses running extremely well there, Joe.
Tyler Gaffalione aboard that day, but Marcelino Pedroza has ridden this horse very well as well. He gets the mount with Tyler at Del Mar. Let's take a look at Sir Alfred James. This is one of the most impressive performances we saw during the September meet. Claimed out of this race, and none of us were surprised when that happened. But look at this horse just striding out, albeit against easier competition.
He absolutely loves it here, just like Bango, racing at Churchill Downs. Went to the front this day from the outside and never looked back. A 106 Brisnet speed rating, extremely fast. Will have to recover from the effort in the Phoenix against Better, where he ran 5th.
He did. He ran 5th behind a Special Reserve, Aloha West, both of whom could be players in the Breeders' Cup Sprint later.
I'm hoping so.
You are. I know you like you stole my horse from me.
I let you know, when he was a AAA type horse, I let you jump on him. And then when he was ready for the big leagues,
We are rooting for the Catman. Best of luck to all of our connections at the Breeders' Cup today. I went with Mucho on top. I like the third that he ran at Keeneland in the Phoenix. Didn't get the greatest trip that day either. He was in the pocket. Ray Lou had him in a great spot, was held up a little bit, finished very willingly behind a very talented pair. This horse is in the best form of his career.
Yeah, I love the outside draw for him. And it's interesting, he ran monster maiden race at Saratoga and kind of was all the hype and didn't really live up to expectations. But great job by John Ortiz to bring him back in form. He's rattled off 6 straight 90-plus Brisnet speed ratings. He's 2 for 7 at Churchill Downs with 2 seconds, and I think he gets the perfect trip, stalking just off the early pace. I expect the pace to be pretty lively here. Mucho will be my best bet of the day, hoping we get 5-2 or 3-1.
Race 11, one-turn mile, A other than Cody's Wish, breaking through with the maiden victory last time out and being very impressive in the process. He's the 8-5 favorite. He looks like the horse to beat, but if he does win this race, he's going to have to earn it.
Yeah, he will, and it's never exciting to take short prices with horses taking on winners for the first time, but it's a solid group of contenders, some veterans in there, but Cody's Wish has just been faster than these horses and really took to the one-turn mile configuration here at Churchill Downs. Ran a couple of real good thirds before that against quality competition at Saratoga, and then came here and toyed with that field last time out. Tartufo, I know you picked earlier on in the card, ran second, but a distant second.
Yeah, really intrigued by Divine Leader. I, too, am on Cody's Wish on top. A Divine Leader claimed for $16,000, ran a monster race in that starter 50 at Keeneland, was in hand on the turn, responded under a hand ride late. Will he bounce like a Super Bowl? Will he continue to improve? Great job by John Ennis for Mark Arnold with this particular claim. All right, that's the live card. We'll dig deeper into it as we go along throughout the day, Scott Shapiro and myself. But it's Breeders' Cup Championship Saturday as well. Lots of races to get excited about at Del Mar, right, Caitlin?
What an exciting day. This is without a doubt one of my favorite racing days of the year. Big fields to go in the Distaff and the Classic, wide open fields, really one that everybody is looking forward to, and boy, it did not disappoint. Let's take a look at the field in the Distaff, lining up with a huge group of fillies and mares. We have 2 Kentucky Oaks winners facing off against each other, Malathot and last year's winner, She Dares the Devil, taking on your favorite, 8-1 morning line favorite, the number 6 Latruska. I think there's a chance for the number 2 Royal Flag. She's 8-1 on the morning line, kind of a nice long shot price. I think the pace sets up for her, as well as the number 3, your current and reigning Kentucky Oaks winner, Malathot. Already mentioned the number 6 Latruska. Let's take a look at the other runners in this race. Number 8 is last year's Kentucky Oaks winner, She Dares the Devil. And I also think a lot about the 11 Dunbar Road in there at 15-1. Also another one that could benefit for a hot pace. The Chad Brown barn's been nice. Let's take a look at the classic field. Scratch the 2 Express Train came out this morning. Number 3 and number 4, Hot Rod Charlie, I think are going to get some of the best advantages to the hot pace. It's absolutely without a doubt going to be set in here. Essential Quality, a former Breeders' Cup winner, won the Juvenile last year, reigning Belmont Stakes winner. Hot Rod Charlie's had a great year as well. Takes the blinkers off today. Or actually, I think he adds them back on.
Adds them on, yes.
Knicks Go in here as your morning line favorite at 5-2. The speedy Knicks Go won the dirt mile last year. Certainly in here with a chance. We also got Medina Spirit in there. The 9 max player in as a long shot price. Art Collector's also going to be on the lead here at 6-1. I went with Malathot in the Distaff, and I went with Essential Quality in the Classic. I'm going all in on these Dubai-owned runners. I know you guys definitely have thoughts about the Distaff in the Classic, and I'm anxious to hear them.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's against Latruska, Scott, seemingly, and I understand why she's going to be the favorite. She's had a long year, but she's a monster.
She's been great all year long. It's been a long campaign. This is the toughest field she's faced, at least in terms of depth. She's encountered some good horses along the way, but not all of them at once. She draws inside or between some speed, so we'll see. I'm not going to be one that's...
Does she need to be on the lead to win?
I think she's tough. She's just kind of quirky, right? I mean, I don't...
She's quirky.
Yeah. I think, there's been a couple races where I thought she was going to get beaten. She's kept going. I love the horse. I don't love the price. I think this is
gambling game.
You could bet on 8 to 5s every day of the week and, twice on Sunday, as they say. But at the Breeders' Cup, you get chances to take on these horses that look unbeatable on paper with other horses with talent.
Malathat off the bench. I mean, is she going to be good enough to beat Latruska? There's some horses that seem to be heading in the right direction, but Latruska's a monster. Brad Cox, obviously, with Knicks Go and Essential Quality. The race really seems to set up for the grinding Essential Quality. Caitlin mentioned Hot Rod Charlie putting the blinkers back on. I think that's a benefit to him. I hope he sits just a little bit off the early pace. I think that'll improve his chances. But how many of these want to go a mile and a quarter? We know Essential Quality does.
He does, and the way he's been training in the morning, he might show us a little more than the grind today. It seems like he's taken a step forward out of his most recent races, appears to be thriving at the right time. He has as good a chance as anyone without question, Joe.
For those of you watching on Twitter, that's it. You need to tune into TwinSpires or one of the simulcast networks. Travis Stone with the changes. Steve Buttleman with the national anthem. Churchill Downs races, Breeders' Cup races all day long, live here under the TwinSpires. We'll be back with the starting gate in just